Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. I hope you all are doing well out there. I hope you guys had a really great night, got some good rest. Hopefully your day is going well. For those of y'all who are just getting your day started, good morning. For those of y'all who are just wrapping up your day, hopefully it was an amazing one. Hopefully it was a positive one. But we got to get into this story. I didn't know that we were going to have such news around this particular story that we've been covering for a little while now. But we definitely have got to jump into this and talk about this new information. It's kind of shocking new details surrounding Kiely Rodni and the search for Kiely Rodni, everything that went around it. And there's more information that just came out that I'm still kind of trying to wrap my mind around still as we speak. I mean, I'm literally, I'll explain here in a second, okay? But I'm still wrapping my mind around everything that revolves around this particular case. Is there foul play? Is there not foul play? Is this just a straight up accident? Is this there's so many stories, so many things that are going every which way in regards to this case that we need to talk about, and we need to get into some things. And we got somebody very special coming back onto the show with us again very, very shortly. I'm very excited about having Nerdy Addict back on the show again. We'll be bringing him on here very, very shortly. But of course, we got to do a little bit of tiny bit, eensy weensy bit of housekeeping. So do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Send it past 400 likes for me really, really quick. That would really mean a lot. All right. Welcome to the Pascal Show. To all of you who are watching for the very first time, and if this is your first time watching this show, please do me a solid, all right? Crush that subscribe button, man, okay? We're trying to give you the stories, the information, the controversies that you need for your day. And this one's interesting, for sure. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and share this if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated, okay? And we got to get into this. There's a lot going on here that is a little strange. And before we bring in my guest for the day, I just wanted to talk about a little bit of background, broad strokes of what happened here. There was a 16-year-old girl by the name of Kiely Rodni. She was at a basically like an end of year or senior send-off party, which basically turned into a rowdy night of debauchery for a lot of these teens. She, from her friends, on her friends' accounts, we hear that she was heavily inebriated, and she was left behind at the party because she had her own car. And for weeks, she went missing. For weeks, people scoured the earth, scoured the lake, the reservoir that was around the area with no luck. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, a YouTube channel by the name of Adventures with Purpose go out of their way to travel up to Truckee, California, where this party took place, in the area where this party took place. And within less than 48 hours, they were able to find Kiely Rodni's car and find Kiely Rodni's remains inside of car. Now, there's obviously some information that has popped off, basically saying that the car was flipped upside down, and that, of course, they say that she was in the back of the car. Now, that's obviously not great information to hear. Very devastating news. Adventures with Purpose did make an official statement, press release, I guess, to let everybody know that they did find her remains, etc. But they said that they were going to be putting out a video about how they were able to find her, or their journey towards finding her, later on in a week or so. Well, that day has come, guys. The video has come out. It is out here. I just watched it. I literally just watched it just about 30 minutes ago. I finished watching it 30 minutes ago. Shout out to Nerdy Addict, which I'll be bringing on here shortly, for keeping me up to date on it, because I didn't know it had dropped, and it apparently had dropped last night. So there's a lot that we need to dissect, a lot of stuff that we need to talk about in this particular video that they dropped. It is a members only video. So I'm going to be very, very cautious, because obviously they deserve all the eyeballs, all the viewing on their page, on their channel. So we will be discussing huge bullet points throughout this, but please, by all means, go over to Adventures with Purpose and do us a solid, subscribe, even join their channel if you really want to see the entirety of this video, which is a little less than an hour long. And I got to tell you, it is packed, literally packed with so much information, and we are going to be dissecting it here. So to dissect it with me, please welcome our new and good brother, okay, in these true crime streets, Nerdy Addict, to the show. How you doing, my brother?
I am well, Pascal. How are you?
Man, I am good. I didn't expect this morning. I'm going to keep it real straight funky with you, man. Well, first off, I want to say, before I go into my reactionary piece and in my commentary on all this, shout out to you, man, because I didn't even know that this had dropped until you actually let me know this morning. I'm sitting there knee deep in tie-dye shirts, and I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? What's going on? And you're like, yo, you need to go over to Adventures with Purpose and check out that video. It is crazy, and crazy indeed. Crazy it is indeed. What are your thoughts on this, on what we've seen and heard in this particular video before we jump into dissecting it?
It's definitely not what I expected. We grabbed a membership this morning when we realized it wasn't going to be released until this Friday. And good for Adventures with Purpose for doing that. They are on the ground and need those resources, and that's how they make their living, bringing closure to families. So good for them. But watching the video, it probably about a minute and a half in, I said to my girlfriend, I said, "What? Pause that. Go back. What is he talking about?" Because I was just so sort of taken aback. I mean, you start with a tow truck driver, a service sort of, I'll say AAA sort of guy that goes out to help. And at that point I said, what? Because then all of a sudden he starts mentioning days, and I what day? Right. And we'll get into that. But he said, and I kept asking her, could you rewind that? What day? What day? So this is definitely a surprise to a community that tried to only go forward based on facts. We thought this was done. We thought this was an accident, but everything that we saw today from a video that was dropped at 1 a.m. Has changed that.
Yeah. Like I said, to me, this whole thing is mind-blowing, especially with the roadside assistance worker. That information was mind-blowing to me as well. In fact, I honestly did not know anything about the roadside assistant guy. Now, to me, that is brand spanking news to me. That is a huge detail that I did not hear, that I heard for the very first time in this particular video. Was that the first time you heard about this roadside assistant dude, or is this something that's been out here for a while?
It's the first time I've heard about it. We heard about, remember, we discussed a black BMW that was in social media comments that Placer County seemed interested in. But this hit me out of the blue.
Yeah, this is wild. Okay. So, like I said, one thing that, before we jump into everything, one thing that I will be leaning on quite a bit, quite heavily, to be honest, is actually Nerdy Addict's posts on Twitter. So please, guys, do me a favor. Without him putting up these bullet points, I think a lot of us would not know all the information, all the shocking new details that came from this Adventure with Purpose Adventures with Purpose video, because right now that video is a members only video. I joined the membership just so I can see this video with my own two eyes, because yes, don't get me wrong, Nerdy is a prolific Twitter writer. Okay, he does beautifully, but at the same time, I wanted to hear it with my own two ears and see it with my own two eyes, because yeah, the information that is in this particular video is absolutely shocking, and it's nothing you've ever heard from anyone's mouths, which is extremely mind-blowing. So we are going to be leaning a little bit on his tweets. So shout out to Nerdy, and please go and follow Nerdy Addict. It is spelled the exact same way that you see right underneath his face right there, underneath his avatar right now. Okay, so please go follow him on Twitter, because this man has been doing his due diligence. He's been putting in the work to give us the information that we need. Okay, so we're going to go over to the twits real quick. All right, and of course he says in the very bottom here, Adventures with Purpose released a members only video about 9 hours ago related to Kiely Rodni. Okay, as AWP is in the water, the diver says, call the authorities. Now, I mean, obviously this is not the in succession of the timeline of the actual video, but one of the big moments that was in there was the diver reacting, okay, after coming up from finding Kylie's vehicle and, of course, finding her in the back of the car. Now, it says, of course, the diver says, call the authorities, and you can even see the look on his face. And I'm going to show you guys some, not showing you guys clips, but I'm going to show you guys stills of these moments in this video, because like I said, they deserve all the looks, all the traffic going to their actual video. Okay, but there is one big piece that just blew my effing mind. I'm real talk, and it all revolves around the roadside assistance worker, which we are going to go into here very shortly. Nerdy Addict even went in on it too. Roadside assistant worker claims he saw and interacted with Kiely Rodni related to a service call on her car. And this is according to the AWP video. Roadside assistant worker says Kiely Rodni was with a male during the service call on her vehicle and claims she appeared uncomfortable. Roadside assistant company tow truck has cameras that record video and audio. Says he interacted on either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and the video would likely have her on it. Now, there's a lot to talk about within all of this, okay? But I'm going to read a little bit more, okay? Now, he says, of course, Nerdy is with us, but he said, I am tweeting as I watched it. Of course, they helped Kiely Rodni with her battery on her Honda CRV for the service call. So let's get back to the top of this, okay? This particular individual says that he interacted with Kiely Rodni Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Now, what's interesting is we hear later on in the interview what he really thinks when he really did interact with her. Also, the time in which she interacted with this roadside assistant worker is absolutely mind-blowing to me. But Nerdy, from the information that we've gotten so far, it sounds like she was still up hanging out with this, maybe hanging out with this particular individual after the party had already been over and done with. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So before I dive into that, it's important to note as your viewers read, tweets. I'm watching the video in real time, and it's important to say, and folks that follow know, I'm not always right. So, and what that means to your viewers is make sure they dive into the comments of these tweets, because people will correct me. I like being corrected. But also follow those people that are interacting in Nerdbird Mafia, because these are smart people that crowdsource information to try to get this information to content creators, right? Content creators can edit content. When you're reading these tweets, it's happening in real time often. So I wanted to point that out in terms of, yes. So you'll see here on the timeline, while we're watching this, it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. They then button up the timeline to Saturday or Sunday. They press the tow driver
Yes.
for that information. It's also important to note, uncomfortable doesn't really sort of convey what you're seeing in the video. He's sort of saying, look, anytime Kiely walked over to the driver's side of that car, anytime the male would go to the driver's side, Kiely would walk to the passenger side. Anytime, vice versa, the same would occur. So he's making a point to say Kiely is extremely uncomfortable, or appeared to be. And this tow driver on video, this is not, I won't get into that, but he seems credible. He seems authentic. He seems like a guy that wouldn't be making up stories just to tell a story.
Exactly. Now, I know that there's a lot of other questions out here, yep, just said, are we positive it was Kiely? Now, one of the things, what you just said is exactly right. I mean, this guy, this particular individual, this gentleman by the name of Nick right here, he seems like a fairly stand-up guy, right? It seems like he's just there to tell his side of the story, what he saw with his own two eyes. Now the question is, was that actually Kiely? Could it be another person that looked a lot like her? That could be that's a very good question to ask, right?
Remember, law enforcement did confirm last Tuesday it was Kiely. So
bang. So there you go. Now, you mean from did they use his service truck surveillance and audio to look?
Oh, I'm sorry, the tow truck. I thought you were talking about if it was actually Kiely in the car.
No.
Yeah, so he describes a hoodie. Yeah, sorry. I'm reading notes too. He describes a hoodie. He seems pretty confident this is Kiely, and right, it's associated with a Honda CRV that's also hers.
Right, it is associated with a Honda CRV, but there's plenty of blonde. Girls out here, I'm sure, that could have a silver Honda CRV too. Just saying that out loud, just to put that side of the, put that question out there, or that piece of information out there too, because I know that there's going to be a lot of people speculating and thinking, oh, this guy, it could have been anybody. This could have been any person, like a Brian Laundrie situation. Oh, I was there. He pulled me over. He asked for directions on how to get to the Appalachian Trail, so on and so forth. It could give off some Brian Laundrie sighting vibes, if that makes any sense. So, of course, to just talk about that and put that out there, there it is. But the one thing that is very interesting, though, is that we have somebody who is saying that they saw her. They came up, helped her, assisted her in getting all this stuff together, right? And getting her car back up and running again. Now, the other thing is that he says in the video that there's this moment of you could tell that she is very uncomfortable, and that could be two different things. Either she's in distress, either she's in dire straits. Something's up with this particular gentleman that she is with. And another thing, it could just be she had a whole night of partying, and maybe she doesn't want to come off drunk or high, if she really was heavily inebriated, that is, during the party. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just throwing out all the possibilities here in this situation. But what I am going to do, guys, is play a little bit, only audio, okay, of what Nick says in this video. It's, I think, a very important piece of information. So prick up your ears and let's take a listen, shall we?
I work at an emergency roadside assistance program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
let me stop you right there. Yeah. You said you went to Boca.
Yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes, sir.
So not Prosser Lake. Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Crosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
At first, when I went there, I realized after my test that everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, like in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And like, okay, and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to like her actual belt. After.
Okay. So that could very well have been, and this is just pieces of information that this guy Nick, roadside assistant worker, is saying. She's acting a little strange. She's asking very simple questions on like typical questions that any person would know, right? I mean, if you're driving a car, you know how to attach a seatbelt to you, right? Where to put the buckle into the thing and latch it on, right? The fact that she's asking those questions, that could have been her way of trying to say, I'm in distress. I need help. Or she could have just been really, really drunk. And God knows what else is under, in her system. Like I said, we got to put those possibilities out here. Okay. But what are your thoughts on that, Nerdy, before we continue?
I think you hit it on the nail. I think that will resonate with a lot of females. I think oftentimes males don't know a lot of the sort of the secret language when females are in distress. And I'm often surprised in reading comments of some of those signs. It sounds like that, right? Because alcohol gives you liquid courage. It doesn't make you forget how to do basic tasks. I don't even know what drug would make you forget how to ride a bicycle. I'll frame it up that way. So it sounds like a distress call to me.
Yes. To me, it seems like she's going, hey, help. This guy's creepy. I don't know you know what I mean? Without saying it, right? I know that there's other other ways of girls, like at bars, they'll say a certain code word, like, oh, I'd like to order this drink. And apparently that is a code word to let the bartender know that girl is in an uncomfortable situation with a particular person, so on and so forth. But not saying that she was using that as like, this is the universal sign of help me, but that could have been her way of saying, I need help. But then again, it could also mean she could have been very heavily inebriated. Now, one thing that I want to point out here too, because I can't play the whole thing here at all, but when Nick, goes on to explain how his car has all the trimmings, he's got video, he's got audio, all that stuff. My question to this is, where's that? I want to see the Carfax. Show me the Carfax. Let me see it. Let's see the video. Or have the video and audio gone to the authorities, right? Does law enforcement have law enforcement detained that information, all those files, so that they can go through those as well? Because that shows a totally different side of this story, which is wild to me. Which I'm gonna get to that part here really quick. It just is a bit interesting in my personal opinion. But let's listen to a little bit more here.
Now we both realized it was in neutral. She was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looked like she has been there for quite a while.
What color was the sweatshirt?
It was a gray sweatshirt.
Gray sweatshirt. Was it dark gray or light gray?
It was light gray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
there was a guy there that was with her at time being. He was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forwards. Brown hair that's sticking out just a little bit on the sides. It was kind of like they were both kind of at unease is what it looked like for me, like as if either they had a crazy night or a crazy day, or there's something going on I couldn't know, and at the time I didn't realize what was going on. But other than that, he was a thinner built guy is the best way I could put it, with a bro tank, and it was a white bro tank. He had some freckles on his face, or maybe it was acne or whatnot, but it was on both sides of his face. He was also a little bit shorter than me, so I'm 6'3".
In hindsight, you're realizing all.
Okay, so he also put in details of a particular guy that was there with her, and of course they were both acting uneasy throughout the entire thing. And then he described the guy. I'm assuming that this roadside assistant dude, has better things to do than to sit down and just fabricate this BS to a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Nerdy, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's important to note at the end, he says they're both or seem both at unease. So he's noticing that from the male as well. It's interesting also, in the tweet, he's out there for a CRV battery call, right? But he says at the end, the car was in neutral. The car won't start in neutral. So again, he's pointing out that he wasn't there for a battery. He was there because she was starting the car and it wasn't starting, and he found it was in neutral. Was that a real service call? Was that something she did? I don't know. It would be pure speculation at this point on sort of that. But I did pick up on they both seemed at unease, and the car was in neutral. It wasn't a battery issue, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it just to me, a lot of it seems like there's something up. Car wasn't starting because the car was in neutral. And there's a lot of things you can put into consideration. Either she was doing that to bamboozle the guy, the freckled short guy that she was with in the bro tank. And for those of y'all, I think a bro tank is just a tank top, but it's like a long, like a scallop tee kind of thing, if that makes any sense. It's like one of those longer, goes below the waist type of tank tops. That's the way I see it, not just like a regular tank top, right? But just so you know, that detail, maybe she knew something. Maybe she knew that her car wouldn't do that, and maybe she was doing that to try to find some help in some sort of way. Or again, it could have just been two people really drunk, really under the influence of whatever. I don't know. Or just them not thinking in a fog because of a night of kicking it. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
If she was stalling, let's say she's pretending to this guy that the car doesn't start, he's probably going to pick up that it's in neutral, right? And then you have that time in between. Typically, AAA, I'll say it adds to this tow truck driver's credibility that he's saying, "Look, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday because the way these calls come through, it comes to AAA and then it's dispatched out to general contractors. If you've ever had a car in distress, you know that that's true." So to me, that adds some level of credibility to what he's saying. But if she was in distress and it takes an hour for a service call to come out to that car, it raises questions on why not just reach out to someone if she was in distress, right? And with that, a reminder to all your listeners: believe in every single state in the U.S. Anyone can use their phone to text 911. You don't need to pick up the phone and call them. You can simply text 911 if you are in distress and need to do that discreetly.
100%. 100%. Words to live by, guys. Okay. Now I'm going to play a little bit more. Like I said, I'm trying to be, but it's like right off the bat, like this comes in with these crazy, and there's more information near the end of this video that is just mind blowing, y'all. That would make sense about certain things that went down, on why there was a great exodus at around 12:30 p.m. We're going to get into that here in just a second, but let's hear some more from Nick.
All of this. When do you think that this took place? Or was it before, during the day, after she disappeared?
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before she disappeared. But it was around noonish, like 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her. During that.
So 11 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock or noonish, as he says. 11 o'clock or noonish is when he saw her. Again, he says, I don't know. Well, he starts to confirm it later on in the conversation, but this is very important information here. If you really think about it, there's no way he could have run into her, allegedly, noon on Friday. There's no way, right? Because she was hanging out with her friends. She was hanging out with a friend all day Friday before the actual party, if my memory serves me correct. So she goes out, she kicks it, she does her thing, the party, right? The senior send-off party. This could have only have happened after this party, because everyone, there are still people who claim that they were with her, spending the day with her that Friday before the actual party. So as he says later on, he's like, no, it probably was Saturday or Sunday when I saw her. And it was in broad daylight too. It was in the middle of the day. So what was she doing from 12:30 a.m. till about 11 when she calls this roadside assistant guy? Nerdy, any thoughts on that?
Oh, she called him Saturday. That doesn't make sense because her phone would have immediately pinged cell towers when making the call. Also, the next day, Saturday, from what I understand, if memory serves me correctly, her mom and friends, I think, gathered at Starbucks 8 or 9 a.m. And is when their concerns started because she was supposed to be meeting them for something. So in between 9 and let's say noon, I would imagine, and I think her mom did go back to the campsite. It doesn't, that part doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me right now. Now, I know you sort of started off with Friday. Why not Friday? Why not a full day party? That would make more sense than Saturday to me right now, because of what we know and what her mother did and how she reacted, or how she alleges she reacted, I should say. I
Right.
wasn't there to observe. So
Of course. But I will say that, just to add on to what you just said here, and to just make it abundantly clear, because he does say this, Nick does say that he understood that the phone call was made by the guy's phone because her phone was dead at the time. So if it's Saturday and her phone is still dead, which is wild, imagine a world right now of seeing a teenager without access to a phone right now. I mean, it's like a third leg. It's like a limb, right? So it's wild to think that there'd be another, like a kid, 16-year-old kid, not even pulling over to a gas station or something like that to just get a charger so she can charge her phone so she can use it, right?
Except if you are trying to hide your location for an after party for mom and dad, right?
Blammo. Good point right there. Let's continue with Nick. We're going to play a little bit more. Why not? Because it's just, there's a lot of information here. And of course, let me say this again too. This is just one man's account. This is all still alleged. We don't know if we don't even know if 50 has this information. We don't know if 50 has obtained the audio and video from his actual truck. We don't know any of that stuff. We just know what Adventures with Purpose has given us right here, right now. Let's continue with a little bit more, because I still got some questions. Like, this brings up more and more questions, y'all. This is insane. Let's take a listen.
That period of time, after the period, I told her that I was going to leave, and I hope you have a great day. Vehicle, I told her to keep it running for a couple of hours to obviously make sure everything's working good on the vehicle, charging system wise. At that point in time, then I left, and then a week later is when I saw at a coffee shop that she was gone.
You saw this on a flyer or something?
Yeah, but then everything spiraled out of control, and I got in contact with the detective and tried to do everything I could, and then I saw you guys.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca, which was already on my radar. Do you know who placed the call to your roadside company?
So I can't get details. Calls don't go through me. They go through
dispatch. So you don't have. So when you were digitally dispatched, did you call them to say you were coming, or you just showed up?
I did call, and nothing went through. It went straight to voicemail. Yeah.
Do you know if she had a phone on her at the time?
She did state that her phone was dead,
so
she used whatever guy, whoever this was, she used his phone. So that's how she did get in contact.
Now, of course, they say her phone died at 12:33 a.m. Okay, 12:33 a.m. Her phone officially died, according to what the FBI have said. So that's confirmed by FBI.
And what was, you mentioned, like, she was asking funny questions and acting weird.
Granted, I at the time I didn't realize again that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the towing industry my whole life, so you see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of weird stuff, and it's actually pretty normal. So I can see why at the time it's just a normal call.
She kept on going over that, like, how do you like, secure your seatbelt firmly and like do it correctly, and that's when
she was asking this, Was the guy that she was with right there too?
He was
or-
on the opposite side of the car.
So he could hear the conversation as well?
Every single time the guy would come over to us, she would go on to the other side. And it was just like a back and forth, like a tag team. Better to say, like one person would come over, she wouldn't stay near him, and then it would go vice versa. Or if we were at the front of the car going about the battery and talking about the battery, he was always on one side, she was on another. They were never close to each other.
She was uncomfortable. Yeah. Because, that screams awkwardness and someone being uncomfortable. And when in that scenario, if he was there with her, he should have been right next to her. If not dealing with you the entire time and not her. Did she seem high or intoxicated or?
I thought that maybe she was either hungover or just had a really rough day. She looked distressed.
Can you show me on the map?
Okay. So you hear all that. Okay. Obviously there was something weird. There was weird tension or weird energy in the space, according to Nick, the roadside assistant worker. Every time he kept staying on the opposite end of her, so on and so forth. Something was up. Either there was something going on, or they were just maybe a little bit hungover or still buzzing from the night of heavy drinking. And that could very well be it too. I mean, shoot, you go kick it on a Mardi Gras night, or do St. Patty's Day or something like that, and and some people do those full days of drinking. I'm sure the very next day you're still a little, still groggy, still a little drunk from the day before, etc. It could very well be all that, you know what I mean? But something still doesn't seem right. And given the fact that this piece of information here, we've never heard this before. This has never been out here. Why wasn't it ever out here? It's so crazy to me. Nerdy, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, he sort of answers your question, right? How does he know this was Kiely that he interacted with? He saw her on a flyer a week later, he says. So there you go on that. It's odd, yeah. I'm sort of the decision or a mindset that she shut off her phone. Adventures with Purpose, incredible job getting information that we didn't have. They knew about the other two lakes. They knew that there was parties allegedly there, and that's where they started on Saturday. And they got this information that we didn't have. Didn't know that she was, when he uses words like hangover, that's Saturday. That's after the party. Where does this go? And he does clearly say in audio and video that you didn't put up here, but he says, look, I have cameras pointed at the car doing video, audio. That footage is rest assuredly with law enforcement if there is foul play. And right now, look, the reason that I'm looking at 1 a.m. for updates and first thing in the morning or talking about this is because we don't have a manner of death. And they announced this last Tuesday officially. 2 days before that by Adventures with Purpose. It's now we're at a week and a half without a cause of death for what we thought was an accident.
Yeah, and what's also interesting, what's also something that I find incredibly interesting here is that I'm also hearing different, and I don't know if it's true or not, which is very, very frustrating in my personal opinion. I'm hearing other stories about autopsy may or may not be sealed, etc. Like just the autopsy reports, etc., may not be unsealed for the public and all that. I'm hearing that kind of rumor floating around, and that's what sucks about this whole story. There's so many rumors and so many things of speculation and other YouTubers going after each other for ridiculous reasons and all that. It's very frustrating because you can't. It's hard to sift through the BS to find the actual hard evidence and the hard facts.
Shout out again to Adventures with Purpose, Pascal.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't have this information. We wouldn't even know her car was found without them. Shout out to them. And
man. By the way, they just gave us a super chat. So I just wanted to say, Adventures with Purpose, thank you so much. I appreciate you for giving us the content, giving us the stories, doing your investigative work as well. They said our mods said, shout out to their mods too. Shout out to y'all, okay, for being so kind over here and giving us this channel some love, because you guys could have destroyed me. You know what I mean? In a very bad way. And you know, God forbid, I don't want no smoke. I'm doing this for the sake of getting the truth out here and giving you guys the information that you need around this story. But they said our mods said you're doing an incredible reporting and being very respectful of our content. Wanted to say thanks for supporting our efforts. Got a jet. Well, shoot, Adventures with Purpose would have loved to have had you here if you're around. Any of the fellas, if you are around and want to hop on and talk, please let me know. I'd love to have you on, because there's so much information that's out here. There's so much, and you guys unfolded some new information. I don't even know how y'all got that. So I'd love to know the tricks to your trade. All right. Gen XB, real quick. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the roller coaster ride, which is the Pascal Show. I really do appreciate it. AWP, shout out to all you guys. I'd love to have you guys on the show sometime. If you are still around hearing this, just wanting you to know that, okay? Just whenever you get some time, love to have you on and talk about everything, not only just Kiely. There's so many other stories that are, and so many other cases that need to be looked at as well, that I'm sure you guys have been working on as well. So thank you for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. Now, the thing is, they gave a lot of really good information here, because we've never heard this side. We've only heard, oh, it was that night she drove off, boom, you know, and it's a wrap. But the thing is I feel like there'd be a lot more information told if we had the autopsy information. If we had the reports from the autopsy, because like I said, this is just the rumor mill. I'm hearing that they're not, I think, out of the family's request, but that's like, this is what I'm hearing as hearsay, that this possibly could be sealed. But if we knew time of her demise, then we can know a little bit more of her timeline while she was still living on this planet, right? So then we could sit there and look at Nick and his account, his story, and what he's saying. We can actually look at that and go, that makes sense, because she didn't pass on until this particular, at this, what they say is the time of her demise, right? Then you could sit there and go, oh, okay, that would make sense if he ran into her on a Saturday in the middle of the, right before noon. That makes sense. The math would be mathin'. But right now, we don't have anything. In fact, he said he's working with the detectives with all that information. So then where's the Carfax? I keep rolling back to the Carfax. But where the Carfax at? Where it at, though? Then the other question I have as well. Okay, there was a dispatch that he goes through dispatch, so of course he gets radioed in, letting them know, or letting him know, okay, there's a battery issue with a Honda CRV issue, blah blah blah. Okay, I got you. I'm en route. So she says, according to Nick, he had a conversation with her, and she said that her phone is dead, and she called from her friend's phone. Interesting freckled guy with the San Francisco hat on and the bro tank. Okay. She says that she got his phone and called roadside assistance. So is there any way that they can go back into their phone records, find out the actual phone number of said freckled bro tank dude, and track that ass down? You see what I'm saying? Why aren't we doing the math, the detective work? I'm sorry, but that's instantly what I think. Look at his video camera, or like his car dash cam, his audio, listen to that as well. Make sure that is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, Kiely in the video. I know he says that a couple days later, he's, out and about and he sees a missing poster and he's like, holy crap, that's her. Fine, that's cool. That's great that he identified her. Absolutely 110% fantastic. But where's the footage? Where is dispatch where maybe they can go and track back those phone calls and maybe, find the actual phone number or find a group of phone numbers, right, that were called around that specific time and then do their detective work? Nerdy, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you threw a lot at me.
Sorry,
We're
I know
only
that
on
was
the
a lot.
we're
Sorry.
only on the tow truck driver and the timeline here, and we're 46 minutes in.
Right.
Backing up to viewers asking, will the details be released? If this is a criminal case, which it's sounding more likely that it is, this community just saw recently Lily Peters, 10 years old. I mean, details that graphic content warnings would be displayed on news articles for this case. We have the details on that. If this is a criminal case, there's going to be court proceedings, and quite frankly, law enforcement has lost so much face on this case, in my opinion, by missing the vehicle. We probably won't have an announcement until an arrest is made if this is a criminal case. That would be my bet. I'm wrong sometimes, but that would be my bet.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that we get down to the down to the nitty gritty here. We find out what the heck is going on, because so that we can actually confirm or deny these claims that Nick has come out with, this information. And like I said, it's very telling information. And you're right, we're only at the tip of the iceberg here. There's so much more that goes on here. So let's move on to some more of these things too. And of course, we got to talk about the alleged, I guess, Kiely's mother making a statement, whether that's real or not. We definitely got to talk about that here shortly as well. But this is a big episode that they just dropped. So during the roadside assistance service call, skinny male with freckles, the worker describes, would walk to the driver's side door. She would walk over to the other side, to the passenger side. Okay. And I'll get to that grief statement here in a little bit. And be sure to go follow Nerdy Addict. Okay. Nerdy_addict on Twitter. Please go follow him there. And of course on TikTok as well. Nerdy Addict, one word, no underscore at all. Okay. Just one word, Nerdy Addict. Okay. So, Leslie used words to disclose with an undisclosed female right before the party. So this is the information. This is the part I'm glad we got here too. This is the piece of information that I found very interesting that was in this right now members only video. And again, I'm going to play a little bit of that too, because that information was huge. In my personal opinion, very telling, and it explains why just maybe, there was a grand exodus at around 12:30 a.m. It does explain, in my personal opinion, it does explain quite a bit. So let's take a listen to this.
Here. This just got sent to me. I cannot name who did, but it says the Truckee Facebook missing persons groups are on fire with speculation about what happened to Kiely. Thing is that some of it may not be speculation. It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging. Reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kiely and a girl named minutes before the party suddenly breaking up. And then cars started flying out of the parking lot. Something bad happened and all the kids' parents told them not to get involved. You may want to keep in mind that there's a possibility of what happened to Kiely could be more sinister, and there was a panic. I do. I feel the same way. A kid goes missing after attending a party of 200 to 300 people. There's always, most likely, something that happened at that party. Someone knows something. Someone possibly did something.
I feel exactly what he's saying here. I'm going to roll that back one more time because that is a lot. That was a lot to digest. So I'm going to play this one more time for those nosebleed seats. But again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please do us a favor. Go over to Adventures with Purpose. Show them some support. Go join their membership. Become a member. Check out the entirety of this episode, because it's especially if you've been following this Kiely Rodni case, there is so much to unpack, and we're only scraping the surface of this story. So I'm going to roll that one more time. Again, join, subscribe over there. And of course, don't forget to hit that. I mean, I have to, you know what I mean? Because I gotta keep my lights on too. So please hit that like button down below. Send it past 1K really quick. We're almost there. Hey, a like doesn't cost a thing. It's on the freeze nines and nines. So please go hit that like button down below. And please hit that subscribe button, okay? I cover a lot of stories on this channel, and we have a lot of really, really great discussions over here. So please crush that subscribe button and become a part of the Pascal Show family. Join as well down here if you can as well. Real quick, I got Misty Fisher. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Maybe Kyle's car wasn't put into Passer until after law enforcement searched it. Maybe. That could very well. I mean, there is room for a lot of speculations right now. I mean, the speculation train is moving rather quickly. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm just looking at something here. Ooh. Yep. And I'm seeing your comments here, Nerdy. We're gonna cover those bases here too. But I'm gonna play this one more time for you guys, so you can hear it one more time, and then I want to throw it over to Nerdy. He's got some things to say.
Me, I cannot name who did, but it says the Truckee Facebook missing persons groups are on fire with speculation about what happened to Kiely. Thing is that some of it may not be speculation. It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging, reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kiely and a girl named minutes before the party suddenly breaking up. And then cars started flying out of the parking lot. Something bad happened and all the kids' parents told them not to get involved. You may want to keep in mind that there's a possibility of what happened to Kiely could be more sinister, and there was a panic.
Now, somebody's name was bleeped. Who is the person that had that altercation with Kiely, if that's entirely true? Again, these are all alleged, but I want Nerdy to take the floor. Let me hear your thoughts on all this information that just unfolded here, my brother.
It's a lot of information. I don't know. Each content sort of platform is different, and I do trust AWP. I will say one of the things, I do TikTok content creation on missing person cases, and a lot of times you have the ability to edit, and sometimes people do that in a way that misrepresents facts or data. I don't believe AWP has done that, right? They have that capability, and they're telling a story here, and in order to tell that story, it has to be compelling. I think they've done a phenomenal job with not just the sonar dive, but actually being on the ground and being a liaison for information, and not only a liaison for information, but protecting that information even from us, to ensure the integrity and fairness to the family. With that, there's this guy. My mind goes to, you've said two different things, right? You've said people are scattering from a party and leaving at 12:30. But the next day, Kiely may be there on a service call. And, one of the things I said before, alcohol doesn't make you forget how to put your seatbelt on. Weed doesn't do that. Mixing makes you sort of loopy, but doesn't make you pass out. But back in, I think I was like 23, I went to Washington, D.C. I told you I'm in tech. So it was like it's a database training. And I partied. I'm an addict, and it was around Mardi Gras. Went to a bar. There was beads, and I'm pretty sure I was roofied, right? And the reason I bring that up is because the next day I woke up, I was fucking disoriented. I went there for a database administration class, and I forgot how to order Burger King the next day after sleeping in 3 hours late, at 11. So that is one drug that may make someone loopy out of it. Now, I'm just that again is speculation, but this sort of time frame of her phone turns off at 12:30, and then this person again. And the reason why I say, it's important to note, I think AWP is getting information and relaying it accurately. How that is portrayed to us via law enforcement and how that plays out will be interesting. I do believe this tow truck driver, I do believe he saw Kiely and that's the person. Because there's a vehicle that's associated with that, right? There's a battery and you're opening the hood, and those things are usually noted. So it's interesting. There's so the windows, and then you get into this area where, okay, now what? There may have been a crime. What crime, right? Because if she overdosed on something, if she woke up groggy and drank something that still had something in it, right? There's a lot of different ways this plays out, and somebody put the body in there and lied to enforce. We're dealing with a lot of different things here in terms of how we speculate. Did someone murder her? There's other scenarios too. I mean, the seatbelt, sort of asking how the seatbelt works is really bugging me. So there's other scenarios. There's a lot, and I don't want to put those on your platform, but there's a lot of ways this plays out. I think in my mind right now, she went to an after party, maybe came back in between that 12:30 and noon spot. And when you start talking about roofies, you're talking about some dark stuff that goes along with that drug. And I'll say on the record, I just woke up with pizza in my toilet. There's, aside from the confusion at Burger King, Pascal, there's nothing shady.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it would, you make a very good point. I mean, it could very well be, it could have been anything, right? Especially when you're talking about those drugs, those kind of date are drugs, right? I got to be careful about those certain words here, unfortunately. But the fact that you said, even on your account, like you're like, I feel like I was, because of X, Y, and Z, I was disoriented. I couldn't do this, that, and the third. It could have very well been something like that, where she is just really jacked up, really messed up on whatever the heck she's messed up on. That maybe was given to her against her will or unbeknownst to her. There's a lot of those things that you can put into consideration as well. I mean, like I said, it's just so strange. And then, of course, this guy's probably not thinking anything. He's just thinking, like this roadside assistant guy could be like, she's really jacked up. She's just this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That could very well be how he just took it and just didn't see the signs. And not everybody knows those kind of things. You go to any given situation. It's not like everyone's an expert at body language or how people are, or if somebody's really in distress. Not everybody is that intuitive, that perceptive. You can, and so you got a guy who's probably just trying to do his job and get to the next job, and was like, okay, you just put it in like this, sweetheart. That's how you do it. Okay, there you go. All right, guys, bye. Wow, those guys are really, really messed up, and you keep moving. And unfortunately, it just turns into something that you kind of wish you could have turned back time and done it a different way. But this is one thing I do want to say, though, as well, is that what you even put in, Nerdy, is she allegedly had words with an undisclosed female. And of course, when AWP, when Adventures with Purpose spoke about the name, they bleeped the actual person's name out, but she was having allegedly a fight with somebody else, which caused everybody to basically pack up their stuff and kick rocks. Hence the reason why there was a grand exodus at around 12:30 a.m. Now the question is, who could that woman or that female be? They bleeped it out, obviously for obviously for legal reasons and all that stuff. But it makes you wonder who could it be? And I know I'm already seeing some people saying, even on Facebook, Desiree just said, Sammy. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a lot of questions I have. Nerdy, what are your thoughts on that piece of information?
I think that's the part I don't like. I think that we have new data and facts in front of us. I think mentioning names of people that we don't know are involved right there. You just mentioned a good point. They're bleeping out a name not because she's a person of interest, but for legal reasons. She may very well be a minor and not Sammy. I don't know. I want to wait until we have facts and data in front of us. I'm more on the path of right. We always talk about data. It's more probable that a sketchy man that's making someone look uncomfortable would be. I want to believe they'd be the culprit as opposed to a close friend. That's what I want to believe.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much to unfold, and of course, it's easy for us to sit here and think that it's it's easy for us to sit here and instantly gravitate towards one particular person because obviously a lot of speculations and a lot of rumors and theories and everything has been circulating around this particular individual. But just out of respect to everything, when we do get more information on said name and who it could be and all that stuff, then we'll go there. It could have been anybody. It could have been any name that came out of Adventure with Purpose's mouth. But I know a lot of people are going to be speculating and looking into that tremendously. Understandably, because everybody and their mama wants to close this, find the answer to this question or to these questions. But for right now, this is all we have right now. So one thing which we're going to get to this part because obviously I want to show you guys. It's just the reaction from Adventures with Purpose's diver. I mean, I can't show it to you guys, of course. You got to go and please go and check out the video itself. And of course, it will be released to the public for free starting on Friday. So you'll be able to watch this in its entirety on the free 99 as well on Friday. But if you really, really just want to get your sink your teeth into this story and find out their side and what they found, please go and go hit the join button, become a member, and you'll be able to go and check out the full video. But I just wanted to play this little clip here. This is obviously they had found. Now this is the information. Okay, they had found her car. The diver is down there describing what he had found. On the car. The car was flipped upside down. It is very much so flipped upside down. She is inside the car, which we will hear him say that here shortly. But he also puts out information where when he sees it with his naked eye at first, he says the front window, the window was busted open, but apparently it was only rolled down. So the window's rolled down. And then the passenger driver's side window, okay, or the passenger window on the driver's side window was cracked or was pulled halfway. And that's how the car was when it was found underneath or in the water, which obviously poses a lot of very interesting questions. But it's the reaction that he has when he actually finds out that she's in the back of the car. And I say this because for someone who sees this, I'm assuming sees these kinds of things a lot, his reaction, it does pop up a few questions. Let's take a listen.
Yep.
You know what? I need to show you guys this face. Okay? Because his face says everything. So I'm going to show you really quick a still, and then I'm going to play the audio. Okay? Because his face says it all. Take a look. His face says it all. Okay? Clearly, he saw something he did not want to see. Okay? He's obviously very, very distraught by what he saw. I just want you guys to see that. Imagine that face, that look on his face as he continues here.
That's what we do it for, brother. Good job. Good job. It's positive, you know? All right.
She's in the back of the vehicle.
Okay.
She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Vehicle's upside down. Some of the one window is halfway down. One window is all the way down. Call the authorities.
So, just so you know, because we're only giving you like we're just giving you the donut holes, not even the whole donut here. Okay. So, definitely go over to their channel and check out all this stuff. But you even hear the diver say himself, this looks suspicious to me. And we've all there's a lot of people out here, that have been saying this is suspicious. This is very weird, so on and so forth. And of course, they've seen a lot of scenes. They've seen a lot of moments where cars have been underwater for a long time, so on and so forth. The fact that he said her body's in the back of the car, these windows are specifically down, the car is flipped upside down as well. This looks suspicious to me. Call the local authorities, call the authorities, says everything to me. Now, could that mean 110% foul play? Okay, it could. And it may not as well, but it still does throw up a lot of red flags instantly, in my personal opinion. Nerdy, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, even if there wasn't foul play, things start not adding up, right? She's asking a tow truck driver how to put her seatbelt on, but she's found in the back of the car, not strapped in. So that immediately starts raising flags. Yeah, and I mean, I saw the video. Adventures with Purpose, or anyone that has ever found a body, especially that of a minor, that's heavy stuff, and you can see it in his face there. I don't know what to make of it. The windows down indicates to me at the very least that she had to have been known to be dead before going in the water. I want to be careful about how I say that. Meaning, if foul play was there, you at least know the person responsible knew she was absolutely dead, because the windows down would mean there would be a chance of escape, right? So at the very least, it implies that to me. Again, this is speculation. We don't know that, but that's what it implies to me. That this person was not able to escape a car that had a full window that was down. AWP sold out of those devices that break windows because everybody thought this is the way this teen girl died, and it turns out that's not the case.
Right. So many questions still. This is the weirdest. I feel this is so unfortunate because obviously there's so much to break down, and of course a lot of us are most likely hoping or wanting it to just be a simple tragic story of someone under the influence that just lost control of their car, and then it wound up in this lake, right? But now that we have more and more things going on, we have more and more questions that keep popping off. It's getting it's getting tough. It's getting tough to get the full answers to everything because, one, the rumor mill is going like crazy. There are kids that are not willing to step forward and speak out. There's a lot of anonymous type of statements that have been made. And then now we have this new information with roadside assistance, Nick, telling his firsthand account of interacting with Kiely possibly the day after the party, that party that went down, where she literally, allegedly, went missing from. So it's very, very strange. But and of course now we have more information of a fight broke out, something went down, which caused everyone to leave. That's why everyone left all at the same time. At least this is the information we're getting from Adventures with Purpose's video. So it's strange how much more we're getting, right? Nerdy, what were you going to say?
And I think it's interesting when you watch the video, right? Everyone tuned in and watched the drone footage overhead when they pulled the car out. Drone footage doesn't really give you an idea of the 3D landscape that you're facing. That footage today that Adventures with Purpose put out gives you a real idea of that slope. And so originally, without seeing that, the idea is like she took a right turn. She started going a little too fast down the road and intoxicated. That obviously changes now that we have the tow driver and she's seen the next day potentially. But that slope to me says there's no freaking way in hell you're barreling down that thing and don't notice, because it's so steep. It looks like when you see the video, like you're like, what the hell? Like so to me, that looks more of a roll. Enough steepness to have a roll, but then is it enough speed to tip the car over in the water? I don't know. And so it's going to be interesting how this plays out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting to see how this whole thing unfolds, because it's starting to unfold. It's definitely starting to unfold. This is just crazy. Janice Byrne online, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome to the family. I appreciate it so very, very much. Thank you so much. And again, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you can. Hit that join button just like Janice Byrne just did a second ago. Join the family if you can. Support the channel in any way you can. That would really, really mean a lot to me. And of course, we always love having Nerdy Addict here on the show. So please do me a favor and follow him on Twitter. It is nerdy_addict, exactly like what it says right here underneath his face on the screen. So please go follow him on Twitter. But there's so many questions here, y'all. Now, the thing I do want to point out is that there's been some interesting stuff that's unfolded over the past 24 hours revolving around Kiely's mother. Now, I want to say this really quick before we jump into this statement, I guess, or this post that was made. Grief is a very interesting thing. It could be a very complicated thing as well. People deal with it in very different ways. Some people lean towards anger, some lean towards substances, some lean towards working, burying themselves in work. Some people try as much as they can by avoiding grief, etc. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that this is really a statement from her. I have no idea if this is true or not. Allegedly, this came from her page. But then again, anyone can hack somebody's account and do crazy stuff on it. So I don't know if this is actually her or not, but it did make a lot of people react in a certain way. And again, I keep thinking, is this another thing to just stir the pot around this devastating story, right? So we got to take a look at this. But allegedly, Kiely's mother went to her Facebook, it looks like, and she said this. Let it be known, and I know it's really small for you guys, but it says, let it be known that Adventures with Purpose has not contacted me or Tony, Kiely's stepdad, a single time throughout this ordeal. Not to offer condolences, not when the car was discovered, not once. I am so tired of hearing how wonderful they are when all they have done is make a spectacle out of my daughter's death on their quest to make themselves heroes. They are not and never will be my hero. This is meant to be our story, not theirs. Please do not give them the pen or allow them authorship. Okay. So this is what
It's a
so
weird way to end it, man. Sorry.
no,
This is
you
our story to tell.
say it again. I'm sorry, say it again.
This is our story to tell, which is, I think, why you hit on this could be hacked. It's just a weird way to, going from her original statement that she made, which was eloquently written, to ending a statement, this is our story to tell, to an agency that just brought you closure. We talked about this. You could have been sitting there on cases that we've seen go on 3, 5, 10 years. And to your point, grief, I said that in a tweet. That takes, there's 5 stages, and she's entitled to those 5 stages. She's entitled to anger. I find it a weird way to end it. More importantly, I find it weird that this is posted to friends, and someone posted this publicly is probably not a very good friend. I think it shows you how much people are using this to fuel their own agenda. That's my take on it.
And that's exactly how I feel about it too. If somebody hacked into her stuff, because apparently her account has been completely like wiped out. Like there's only a few photos on there, so on and so forth. Like she's allegedly her account. This is what happened to her account. But again, anyone could have hacked her stuff, and because it does break my heart that there are. Let's keep it real. Again, grief can make people do very unthinkable things sometimes, especially when you're going through the stages of grief. You're going through the stages of saying goodbye to your loved one. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of, there's the stages, but one thing I do find interesting is, or what this could be, is finding a scapegoat, finding a target for one's anger. And those things do happen, right? Until the grief starts to settle, the heightened emotion starts to lower, and then you suddenly realize, whoa, I just spoke out of turn, or I got really upset, shooting from the hip, and maybe I shouldn't have said what I said during that time. I was just grieving, and you were just right there in my face, and you were just in my path. Those things could happen. Those things could very well happen. But then there's something about this that just doesn't feel right. Again, I want to point this out too. And I'm not saying this has anything to do with this statement, but law enforcement did look a little bit weak. I don't know how to say this in the right way without it seeming like I'm just trying to bash law enforcement, but law enforcement, this situation didn't make law enforcement look good. Let's just say that, okay? And you got these guys who came in, they got some really nice toys, they got the hookup, they know they're skilled. You got a bunch of Liam Neesons up here, they got a whole bunch of special skills. They walked in less than 48 hours, they were able to find this young girl and her car like that. Law enforcement had been out there for weeks, and they were starting to tail back. They were starting to scale back. This was slowly but swiftly turning into a cold case. And these guys came in, bang, were able to do what they did. Went into the Prosser Reserve. They were able to find her within less than 35 minutes. And allegedly law enforcement had search teams go in that area, allegedly. So in my mind, I keep thinking maybe this is just some sort of person that hacked and tried to make that may be thinking, oh, they're making law enforcement look like, you know what I mean? Look like idiots or look weak. Let me try to steer the narrative a little bit and try to tarnish AWP with this kind of statement, especially coming from the mom, allegedly. That's pretty wild, right, Nerdy?
It's a grieving mother. originally when the family was described, as I understand it, they were told to be off the grid type people, not on social media. So that sort of starts raising questions. The statement at the end, this community came together during the Brian Laundrie case, Gabby Petito case. When someone that has just lost someone says tell our story, you know, the Petitos have come out publicly on Twitter and otherwise saying, look, someone's making a movie about our daughter. This is horrible. Don't do this. Typically people don't want that story told, and it conflicts with the original statement that we're going to heal and dance. And so that sort of, you know, without throwing, I want to say smoke at the family, but you know, that's it's their right to grieve. It's my right to think. Um, you know, and lastly, on Thursday, when the law enforcement said, "Look, we're scaling down the search," we had people on the ground there, and we were trying to put the families in contact with a very big name that could have given their daughter much more exposure. And it went from Thursday to Sunday when she was found with no sort of return call back. That sort of stood out to me. Now that could be for a number of reasons, Pascal, right? That could be, you know, but eating sushi on a Sunday when you know there's just there was a statement from a PI that, you know, she was eating sushi when she heard the news. Now I've been to a lot of sushi restaurants. They've always been of Asian descent in terms of the waitress staff, and they're not giving me news off of social media or other news. So and to describe a mother eating sushi on a day when she knows whether or not all the other bullshit, she knows that Adventures with Purpose is coming out there. Just it doesn't seem, something seems off.
It just yeah, it seems a little bit. It seems a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit weird. But that I mean, but then again, you know, people deal with grief in many different ways. You know what I mean? Even AWP came out with this. There's speculation whether it came from a real or fake account. Regardless, everyone will grieve in their own way, and blame will play a role in the grieving process. You will see in the video that we made immediate contact with the family members we had access to. There was a media wall and barrier around Kiely's mother that we did not have direct access to her. And I will say this really quick, just to be completely honest. I have done so many times tried to reach out to certain people, especially when they've had something devastating happen. Of course, you know, that it becomes national news, a national news topic. I have reached out to so many different people that are the subject matter or the father or the loved one of a person of a national story. And yes, there is a media wall. There is a wall of people. Sometimes they're sitting there going, hey, I don't even want to deal with my IG, my Twitter. I don't want to deal with social media. Honey, you're running it. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like if it's somebody who's interested in an interview, we'll see. We'll check it out. But a lot of times, I myself, who you know likes to have these kind of interviews and talk to people and spread the word on my channel, there's a lot of other channels that do the same thing. So there's a tidal wave of people going, hey, you know, we'd love to talk about Kiely. Can you come onto the show and talk about Kiely? Trust me, everybody and their mama does it. Everyone. So imagine what's going on with the mother. But in the actual video, in this one that is members only right now, which you can go and check out. If you join over there on their channel, please do so. You can find out in that video as soon, like the diver hasn't even gotten out of the water yet. He's still in the lake, and they call the grandmother, they call the aunt immediately, because those were the only people that they had contact with first and foremost. That's the only two people that they were contacting. And of course, the father and the grandfather, and you know, law enforcement as well. But those are the only people that they had contact with. At least that's what they say in the video, and they show it. Hey, I'm calling you because I do not have direct contact with Kiely's mother. I just want you to know that we found Kiely and we found her car. I'm really sorry to let you know that. So on and so forth. You know for a fact if they had known or had access to Kiely's mother, they would have called in a heartbeat. They would have called in a heartbeat. But I get it. Like they said, blame does come into the process of grieving. And they were the ones to break the bad news. But I believe in don't blame the messenger. These guys were out here trying to do a good thing, and they did a good thing. And they should get the respect and the props that they rightfully deserve, because this story could have been we could be talking about this a year from now, on her anniversary, going, what happened to Kiely the entire time, just scratching our heads and trying to figure out what actually happened. I don't think Adventures with Purpose deserves this kind of backlash for doing the right thing. That's just what I have to say about that. Nerdy?
Well, it's important because there's a couple things to note here. When law enforcement clears the scene, they have their, just like I do, American civil liberties, and any Joe Schmo could have went out there after law enforcement said we're done here. There was tubers out there, there was campers, and anyone could have contaminated that scene. They took care of that scene with integrity. They did it the right way, and more importantly, they're coming out and defending their integrity, rightfully so, because they've solved a lot of cold cases. Your integrity comes into question. A prosecutor, a defense attorney can now use that on other cases that they've pulled cards. It raises a lot of questions. Everything that I've seen now, and I'll say, with honesty, AWP is something I followed recently. I told you I started on Jennifer Dulos. They found her car, and AWP focuses on sonar. But when I did, in the short amount of time that I've watched and learned about them, they do it with utmost respect, integrity. They, do things that I can relate to while on the scene. And like you saw in the video, they notified the family.
They most definitely did. And that's the thing. The information, it's nice that this video came out at this time, because if they sat on it any longer, I'm sure that snowball of these accusations, especially coming from the mother's account like this, it could have gotten worse. And so I'm glad that the video's out right now so people can actually look at it and say, okay, yes, proof positive.
Absolutely.
They contacted family first. Family was first before law enforcement. That's big. They contacted everybody, and then they contacted the law enforcement. And still, no matter what, it's still devastating news to hear from anyone. It's a heart-wrenching situation. And yes, if it is true that Kiely's mother and stepfather maybe were at a sushi joint and they received the information then that's a very unfortunate situation, because then that's a very interesting leak. Because even in the call, when you watch the video, see for yourself, he makes a phone call to Kiely's aunt first, and he breaks the news. Obviously, there's other people in the room. In the background, you can hear people that are in the room. And he says, can you please contact Kiely's mother? Can you please contact them to let her know? Because I don't have direct contact to her. And then the aunt says, I will. So somebody leaked it then. If she found out in a sushi joint, somebody leaked it then somehow. You see? So I don't know. It's a tough situation. No person should ever find out that their loved one has passed, right? In any type of manner, right? It's one of those nightmares that you don't ever want to have happen, that you don't ever want to see. But those men went out of their way to do what they needed to do. They found her. They gave out the information. And I say, just don't blame the messenger. They did the right thing. They did the good thing. And if they had access to her, she would have been first and foremost the person to knowing everything first. So I just say, just giving them as much positive energy. The whole situation, AWP, the Kiely's family, her mother. I just hope that they all find time to heal. Real talk. I got some super chats really quick. A Rena Rees, thank you so much for the 5. Justice for Kiely. Love and prayers to her family. Thanks, Pascal. No, thank you. I appreciate you watching. Without you guys watching, there would be no show. Okay, I'd be just talking to a wall, basically. All right. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Real talk, and I appreciate Nerdy Addict for being here as well. Please go follow him on Twitter. Show some love. Go to the twits. Follow him at nerdy_addict. Okay. Please. Berenice Rivas, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Okay. I see everybody who's coming in. I really do appreciate all your support. Mountain Kayaker, thank you so much for the 5. I camp and prosper often. You cannot hear or see what's going on from there to where she allegedly went into the water. Interesting. What do you think on that, Nerdy?
I mean, it's obvious. That location was a ways away from the party. I don't know that it matters if she either stayed there or came back. I don't know. I'll take their word for it. If they're local there, that you wouldn't hear anything. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that it's a good spot for a criminal to dump the car? Does it mean that nobody would have heard her? If she had an accident, it probably means both things. I don't know how relevant that is, because we know law enforcement missed her for a week and nobody heard her in that spot, allegedly.
Right. Yeah. And, the distance, etc. There's so much to put into play. And then, also, if this really went down on a Saturday instead of Friday night, late Friday night, yeah, this makes you wonder if it's during the day, then that car would know exactly where it would, like, they would be able to see what was going on if they were driving into a lake. I mean, it's broad daylight, right? Unless it was still a nighttime situation as well. So yeah, like I said, all this information, there's a lot to bounce around. So many things to think about, really. Jules, thank you so much for the $2. Gisela, shout out to the Grizzly True Crime team. Okay, to the crew. I appreciate all you Grizzlies out there. Gisela said she doesn't believe the post is actually the mom. The part of me feels like she got hacked, or that it's from a fake account or something. A lot of people can sit there and Photoshop something and then just slap on some statement and then say, oh, it's hers. You know what I mean? So that could very well be it as well. Okay. So nowadays you gotta back check and fact check and double check. What is it? Measure twice, then cut, or something like that. Whatever it is, whatever that saying is. Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to do that same thing with a lot of these things. And of course, it's like not believe everything that you get on the twits, because sometimes there are things that are fabricated or exaggerated to make it a little bit more salacious. So just be wary of what you're reading out there as well, being out there. Merja, thank you so much for the 50. I appreciate it. Got the tea last month. T-shirt or the tea like you just got the tea, if that makes any sense. Okay. Last month. I trust AWP know what they're talking about. I hope so too, Merja. I really do. But I think they do. I mean, why would they put this information out here? It'd be a big waste of time. So I think what they're giving us is facts, or at least the facts that they have obtained during their journey in trying to find this young woman. What are your thoughts on that, Nerdy? Real quick.
They did what law enforcement couldn't do. And I've said this before, law enforcement shouldn't be dive teams, right? I hope law enforcement learns from this and contracts these types of things out to people that are smarter than them. You know, I don't know. Just AWP, incredible job. I think they did this with resistance too from law enforcement. When they say they go into stealth mode and they're shutting off their phones and they don't want law enforcement to know in this video, they did this with resistance. They did this with a lot of hogwash out there on social media, and they did it fucking gracefully.
I feel like they did a great job. They did what they needed to do. Yes, there was a lot of pushback. I feel it as well, Nerdy. I think that there was a lot of pushback from law enforcement for sure, because law enforcement didn't want to eat no crow. Law enforcement didn't want that. They didn't want to come out with egg on their face. You see what I'm saying? Like, they wanted to come in, be the heroes, understandably. Okay, because let's be real. There's been a lot of feelings towards law enforcement on so many different levels and so many different themes out here. And when it comes to this situation, it's pretty embarrassing when you're going, we tried everything, right? I can't open this door, I tried everything. And then all of a sudden they just turn the knob and open it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it almost seems as if, it almost feels like that. I can't open up this pickle jar. AWP walks over and goes, there you go, man. What? Oh, I just made it loose for you. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what I did. I made that jar loose for you. Okay. And that's kind of what it feels like. And of course they don't want to look like idiots. They don't. But it's not a great look, regardless. Let's see. Jackie, thank you so much for the 5. AWP doesn't have to jump through the red tape hoops for equipment. That's true too. That is very, very true. They can go and get all all they got to do is look those things up, raise the money, and get what they need to get. You meant t-shirt. Yes, the t-shirts. They're coming. They are en route already as we speak. Okay. Hold on. What were you gonna say, Nerdy? Were you gonna say something?
No, I just feel like that clip, when people see it, maybe they'll relate. But that little clip there where they said they went to Best Buy to grab some more equipment, like, I feel like that's a jab at law enforcement. Like, I've said that from the beginning. Like, you have FBI, marshals, law enforcement. You don't find anything where you think you're going to find her. You go to Best Buy and you grab some drones. You grab sonar. You go to your back. I just feel like these guys know what they're doing and got it done.
Yep.
And again, guy was like MacGyver out there on that little boat, going into lockdown mode, and then the emotion and trauma that these guys have to go through in finding something like that, and then to turn around and have people question their integrity, how this played out. Frankly, no one's business, really.
Right. The whole thing, this whole experience, everything from them going out all the way to this actual video that just dropped. A lot of it is very eye-opening. It's all eye-opening, all of it, in my personal opinion. Hempland, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very, very, very much. So yeah, guys, I mean, what we have right now is a very, very interesting and eye-opening video that just got dropped by Adventures with Purpose. I urge you guys, I implore you to please go and check out that full video, because there's so much in this video, so much information. Do yourself a favor, go take a look at it, hit that subscribe button over there, go and become a member and check out that video. There's so much that we haven't even touched. We just scraped the surface of this. But there's a lot going on in that video that says there's a lot. There's a lot that's going on in this video that says a lot about how law enforcement was treating them, like what Nerdy just pointed out, and how professional they were in treating this particular situation. Those guys did their job, and they did a damn good job at that. Hempland, thank you so much for the 5. Thank you for defending AWP. Of course, they deserve the defense as much as anybody else, and I'd hope, you know, if that was something like that happened to me, I would hope that they would defend me too. You know what I'm saying? That's just how the cookie crumbles. We got a dollar super sticker. Miss M, thank you so much for the dollar super sticker. Thank you so very, very, very much. I really do appreciate it. But we got to wrap up the show, but I appreciate you guys for being here. Nerdy, let people know about where they can find you and all that, because I know you have your TikTok and you have your Twitter. So tell the people about your stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me here, Pascal. I hope you like the T-shirts that were sent from Nerd Bird Mafia. Should have them this week. My Twitter handle's there. I'm on TikTok as Nerdy Addict without the underscore. Those are my two primary platforms. If you want to, we do as a community. We have boots on the ground as well for cases. Flyers being sent out. So you can super follow as well with my account on Twitter. A lot of that money goes towards ways to help either families or other causes that the community sees fit. Thanks for having me, Pascal. I'm nerdy, so I want to put this out to your folks. There's this really smart woman that came up with a really cool app called Traffic Cam. And that's traffic like sex trafficking.
Okay.
And what it does, it's available for Android or Apple phones. You download the app, and if you're traveling in a hotel, you simply, with the app, take a photo of that hotel room from inside. And the software and systems will analyze that and look at escort ads in areas and compare those photos that they've posted for sex work. Keep in mind, I want to be very specific. I do support sex work that's consensual. Everybody has their own lane and is entitled to that. I don't support trafficking or forced sex work, especially of minors. And that's Nerd Bird Mafia, Snoopy Misfits. Primary goal is to educate people. So if you can download that app, I have no commission with this app. I just think that it's a good way to use technology for good. It's a quick way. It's so easy. Take a picture, submit it. It goes to law enforcement. If they get a match, they're not going after the sex workers. They're going after the traffickers.
That's dope. I like that. And so is that available like in an app store or something?
In the app store, Apple, Android, Traffic Cam. That's TRAFFICK Cam, CAM. Download it, play with it when you travel and hit a hotel. Take the picture inside your hotel room. Small way to contribute to combat this.
That's dope. That's really, really fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Nerdy. I really do appreciate that. Vicky, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very, very, very much. And of course, on my channel or on here, please do me that solid, hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. Love to see it go past 2,000 likes. That would be really amazing. I see a bunch of souls in here watching the show. And of course, hit that subscribe button. We're marching towards our goal of 100,000 subscribers. So if you can help a brother out, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. But one thing I also wanted to point out, and I know I've been talking about this to great lengths lately, but I wanted to share this with you guys for those of y'all who are new or haven't been up to date or not savvy to what I've been up to. Tomorrow starts Suicide Awareness Month. Tomorrow's the first of the month, right? And so it's Suicide Awareness Month. So I put together some custom tie-dye t-shirts and hoodies. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys really, really quick. And you can find these all on pascalmerch.com. Let me just put that in there really quick. Let me just put that there so you have it posted. Okay. Trying to do what we can to bring awareness to a serious situation that's going on, that's sweeping our entire world. Okay. So this one says, "This shirt saves lives." And of course, on the back, they all have on the back, all of them, the hashtag suicide awareness with the Pascal Show logo and then the year on the actual sleeve. Okay. So there's this one. There's a long sleeve shirt version of this, and this is purple and teal. Okay. Same thing with this one. This is purple and teal, but it's a long-sleeved version of it with the hashtag on the back and the year on the sleeve. Another one here too. This is the teal tie-dye with the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number with the 1-800 number. And then, of course, same thing, suicide awareness on the back. And then we have another one, which is this hoodie saves lives. Same thing as I said before, the year on the sleeve, 2022, year 22, blah, blah, can't talk, with suicide awareness and the Pascal Show logo on the back. Now, a portion of the proceeds are going to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And also these shirts are coming from me and my family. We are tie-dyeing them. We are printing them ourselves. So each and every single one of them is completely different from the rest. They are literally, you are getting your own authentic shirt. They're all different. So if you can, please do me that favor. Go check out Pascal merch. It's pinned to the top of the chat right now as we speak. PascalMerch.com. Please go over there. Get yourself a hoodie. Get yourself a long sleeve shirt. Get yourself a t-shirt or whatever. Please support in any way you can, because I want to get this conversation started, right? I want to continue the conversation and letting people know that, hey, for those that feel alone or feel like they're not here, or that they don't have anybody here to listen to them, that they are not alone, okay? You are not alone, all right? And I'm hoping that these shirts, these hoodies, those wonderful ones that I just showed you guys, those are just examples. I'm hoping that those spark conversations and save some lives. So please go over to PascalMerch.com, buy a t-shirt or a hoodie, and let's get the conversation started. So, Nerdy, I want to say again, thank you so very, very much for being on, man. I really, really do appreciate it. Without you and your heads up, I would not have been doing this show at all today. So thank you.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. I know there are Nerdbird Mafia members in your YouTube channel. I don't go in there while I'm on the show. I'd like to give you my undivided attention. But today is Worldwide Overdose Awareness Day, which ties into many times either a slow suicide or otherwise. And so Nerdbird Mafia that are in here, I asked to please go support this cause. Buy some T-shirts from this gentleman that's promoting authentic information. Pascal, what you're doing is amazing. I'm just trying to support you. If we can get 20 shirts from Nerdbird Mafia, I'll give out a clue for my merch giveaway later. 20? Do you want to go higher? You want to go high? You want to be ambitious? Or?
Yeah, let's be ambitious. Why not? I mean, the more and more people get out here, the more the word gets out here, right? So, yeah, why not? If you want to, go for it.
Yeah, Nerdbird Mafia, please support this show, this channel. Buy a T-shirt. We'll drop a clue later. It's appreciated. It's something that we talk about daily, anyways. Addiction and suicide go hand in hand. Trauma, addiction, suicide. You'll usually find all three of those.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And you're right. It is coupled. It does go hand in hand. So there you guys, you heard it from him. 20 shirts from the Nerdbird Mafia. Okay. And then he's going to be giving away or giving out some clues to his giveaway. So please go over to PascalMerch.com and check out one of those shirts. I'm sure one of them is calling your name. Once you open up the page, you'll be like, I like that one. And you'll just click on it, okay? Jennifer, thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much for the 50. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for all you do. This ish needs to stop. I agree. We need to figure out how we can stop or prevent these things from happening in the future. And we need to save our little young ones as much as quickly as we can. Real talk. So yes. Nerdy Addict, again, thank you so very much for being on today. It really does mean a lot. Let me get this down a little bit more. It really does mean a lot, you being here and helping me with this story and conversating with me. Guys, please go over to his channel, Nerdy Addict. Please go and support his stuff. He's got a lot going on, and he's got his own merch as well. So go and check out his website and consume over there as well. He's doing some really, really great stuff for the greater good as well. Please give him as much love as you can. He rightfully deserves it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. You guys have been really, really amazing. All right. Do not forget to hit that like button down below. Send it past 2K. I'd love to see 2K at some point. That would be dope. And please do me a favor. Do not forget to crush that subscribe button. Again, marching our way towards 100,000 subscribers. So be a part of the family. Okay, don't forget to hit that join button if you want to. You can check out my locals page or my Patreon. That would be greatly appreciated as well. Anyway, it is time to get going. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Again, Nerdy Addict is amazing. Thank you for being here. And for all y'all who are watching the show for the very first time, welcome to the show. You guys have been really fantastic. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. All right? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.